Hi, beautiful ones. My intention with the Shamangelic Healing podcast is to be a platform that explores real-life issues and provides you with valuable insights and practical tools to support you on your journey of healing core wounds and reclaiming your power and manifesting a thriving, impactful life that you absolutely love. You see, it's my dream to inspire millions to shine. So if you find these topics valuable, please take a moment and share the podcast and leave us a rave review. This helps the podcast grow and reach the people that would greatly benefit from these insights. Thank you so much for tuning in and investing in your personal development. I'm right here walking this journey with you. So let's dive into this episode. Welcome to the Shamangelic Healing podcast. Special treat for you today. Beautiful soul sister, Anette de la Rosa, that is going to be diving in with me today on all of the things that block us from manifesting our dreams and why dreams go to die, and what sabotages us really deeply manifesting and living our fullest potential, and where self-worth really plays into that. So I want to let you know we have some free gifts for you, so definitely go check the show notes for that. A little bit about Anette. She is like the coacher of coaches, first of all, just like I'm the healer of healers. And so it's an honor to have you here. And if you haven't yet explored all about Anette, go check the links in the bio for all of her details. But one of the things that I think you really show up well with is how to really help coaches and entrepreneurs have the platforms of all of the little pieces that you need to put together your business to really land on the platform, the stability. You've put all of those pieces together so that those people can really, don't have to deal with all of that. So thank you, sister.
Thank you for having me. And I'm so excited to dive in with a sister and just to share all this magic that we have to offer today.
Yeah.
So excited.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you see the gaps where people struggle, and that's what we're going to dive into today. Tell them a little bit about your free gift before we dive in.
Yes. So one of the freebies that I would love to offer this incredible community is the opportunity to, again, bring in all those systems. If you're a coach, if you're a healer, if you are a transformative facilitator online, you know that you have to have all of these systems to make the show run, right? Yeah. And so for all of you coaches and healers, we have a platform for you where you can actually create a free account thanks to Anahata. And the platform is called Cohere, and it is an all-in-one platform that allows you to sell, deliver, and scale your services from one place. And think of it as just integrating Zoom, Calendly, all of those things that we already are aware of that we use on a day-to-day basis in one place.
Oh
just
my
so
gosh,
that's super easy.
Like, I wish I didn't have to Band-Aid and Frankenstein I know. All together. I wish I would have had this years ago. And so that is free. You can go do the free account. So look at the show notes to get that free account. That's very generous, first of all.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have your community on there, and we'll take good care of you from there. So just create a free account, and we've got your back.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That way you can do what you do well, which is so powerful. So thank you for that free gift. It's amazing. So go check that out. And the other free gift is, since we're talking about dreams and manifestation, a guided visualization to manifest your dream life. So that is another free gift. So go to the show notes, be sure to like, love, and subscribe, and definitely go get your free gifts. And a little shout out that we have a couple retreats coming up in the fall, in September, women's retreats. One is happening, the Women's Soul Awakening Retreat, which is a powerful 3-day weekend where it's really focusing on that manifesting your soul's purpose and mission. It's deep, it's so powerful. 3-day, is September 17th through the 19th. That link will also be in the show notes. So Go check that out. Sedona is a wonderful amplifier.
Oh my goodness.
You've done so many things here.
I get here and I'm like already just feeling the difference.
Right. And you're bringing your group here in September.
Yes, end of September as well.
Into October.
So September is such a great time to come for a retreat. It's like the best weather in my opinion.
Yeah. So and so if you are leading a group and you want support, we're going to be doing breath work for your journey. So for your crew that's coming, and then with Taylor Simpson, I'm co-facilitating, who's another dear soul sister, all connected.
And that's how we connected.
And that's how we met each other.
She's amazing.
We did a spa night. we always glammed up each other's feet, hair, nails, all the things.
We were totally doing foot massages and all the things.
Facial steam. This is what we do. This is how we play. So a Goddess Awakening retreat, that is with my dear soul sister Taylor Simpson. That's coming up October 7th through the 10th. I just wanted to give you a shout out because every year those sell out and people are like, oh my God, I wanted to come. And I'm like, well, you got to sign up.
Yeah, and there is nothing like in-person experiences. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful that we have the online space. And I'm really honored to support so many coaches and leading live services on Cohere, but there's truly nothing like having an individual in the flesh to support you through all of those incredible things.
Right.
So
that sisterhood, that is here for you. And Sedona is also the place. We're not in a Hilton in Chicago. We're actually in this powerful environment. So Sedona is like another healer. Okay, so we're going to dive in now, I promise you. But we wanted to just kind of share with you a little bit about what's coming up and go get the free gifts and check out what's upcoming events. So we're going to dive in. We were talking earlier about what we should jam on, and it seems like it's time to rise, and people have so much inside that they're dreaming or a seed or a vision is planted, but then there's an excuse, there's a limitation, there's an obstacle, there's all of these reasons that dreams just die.
Yes.
And then life goes by and we're like, what happened? I was gonna experience and like the bucket list, like nothing's in the bucket. It never got done.
Yeah.
So, and this has a lot to do with worth and value and how we see ourselves and view ourselves. And so what do you think is one of the biggest obstacles to people manifesting their dreams or attracting their dream partner or their dream life?
Yeah, and you mentioned something that it's like we are born with so many of these gifts, right? We all know this. And when we're younger, we have these gifts alive and we can see ourselves doing all of these great, wonderful things. And at some point, we stop believing in ourselves. And that belief is like the killer of all dreams. If you lack that belief and you lack that self-worth, you're no longer going to see yourself as the type of person who can and will do those things that you once wanted to as a child, right? And so the biggest thing that blocks us is truly the lack of belief in ourselves and not seeing ourselves as worthy of those dreams.
Or capable. Capable,
yeah.
Like,
and that's
it's
all
too big
tied.
for me.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough.
Other people are better than me. There's something inherently wrong with me. All of those things get wrapped up. And then all of a sudden, you get to this place in your life where you may not even have clarity. And clarity is, when you lack clarity, it's usually because there's deep-rooted fear of claiming what you desire and of going after your dreams, right? It's like there's these blocks. And so it's easier to say, I don't have clarity than it is to say, I really want to do that thing, but I don't know how to get there and I need some support. And so really at the heart of it is coming back to that worth and coming back to seeing ourselves as inherently worthy because we are, and working through those self-limiting beliefs that tell you that you cannot, which is all ego, but we need to have that awareness of being like, this isn't really me, it's just I've been through some things in my life and I need to clear those things so that I can actually see myself as the type of person who is worthy of going after my dreams.
Yeah, and it's not like it's only for the wealthy or only for the super, super intelligent or only for those people that are well connected or all of those things. Like none of the people that have really been like amazingly successful, so many of those people have like they're no different than any of us.
Yeah.
And or they started, not well connected or not with, financial backing or like a trust fund, but I really appreciate that you said belief, which means that we're going to be rubbing up against those limiting beliefs that we learned as kids. Because like you said, as kids, it was like, I can do anything. And then it just erodes over time. No, that isn't realistic, or oh, that isn't for you, or that's too big, or you're not smart enough, or you're not good looking enough, or you don't have enough money for that. And we begin to start to believe that. I believed it.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
1000%. And sometimes those limiting beliefs still come up once you have gone after those things, and you're at every new level, you get all of these limiting beliefs come back in a different way, right? And it's about really learning to not identify with thought, of course, and really learning that a lot of those beliefs that we bought into as a child, they're stuck in our subconscious because we made something mean something that it really wasn't. Mm-hmm. And it got locked in our subconscious mind as truth. Mm-hmm. But it was really just our interpretation of truth in those moments.
Or somebody else's. Or somebody else's. I remember like when I was in, because these little things stick with us, like you said, in the subconscious mind. I remember I was changing schools and you had to do a placement, and I came in writing and reading or whatever that was as average, and then in math and other stuff I was high. So that told me about myself. Oh, I'm average at reading and writing, so a writer isn't average. So it actually, just the school system and its rating of my current testing at that moment told me what was out of my range, told me I was average in a certain area. Lean into more the math and sciences. That's who you are. And it's like,
that's who you are. It's like,
no, that's just the people around me. I practiced more math.
Yes.
I didn't practice writing because the people around me weren't writers or great with literature or those kinds of things. And so those labels that we took on as kids, or that school labeled us, or a teacher or a coach or a parent labeled, this is what our culture, or this is what our kind of people have a reach to, and that's for other people. Yes. And so it feels like when you're going after your dreams, or these dreams have been planted in you, you will rub up against every single one of those things that say, you can't, you're too small, you're not smart enough, all of that.
1000%. And most of those things, I do believe that there's a lot that come from past lives, right? As we all do on this podcast. However, most of those things did start at some point in our childhood, right? Till the age of 7, sometimes 9. And so really kind of going back to some of those stories and questioning them and being like, wait, this teacher told me that I wasn't maybe good at writing, but let me explore what kind of writing I am called to in this life and really see how I can excel if that's something that I choose. Right. So really rewiring that in those ways is so powerful.
Yeah. I can get better at writing if I'm interested, if I want to, if I'm lit up about it, if I have something passionate that I want to write about, or if there's a goal or a mission that lights you up, even if it's not your area of expertise. If it's your passion, then it can become your mission. 1,000%. And that doesn't mean that you might not need to practice a skill, or get a coach, or learn how to be a better speaker, or learn a tool or a platform that can help you get there. Yeah. That doesn't mean there aren't gaps that you're going to need to, hey, I need this to get
step
there.
Up. Yes.
So what was one for you, Annette, that in your childhood and in your adulthood, you had to face and rewire a limiting belief or something that you bought into that was keeping you small?
Oh my goodness. The first thing that comes up, obviously we all have our own stories, right? But the first thing that comes up, and a lot of people will be able to relate to this if you have a sibling, okay? Mm-hmm. So when you have a sibling, or maybe multiple siblings, sometimes as children, we are unconsciously comparing ourselves to all of our brothers and sisters, right? So I have a brother, and I always felt that in my household, mind you, all of my family, my brother and my parents, they're all earth signs, okay? So they were all very similar, and I'm this fire sign, and I was this I'm a Sagittarius, so I was like this little firecracker that was so emotional and just passionate and expressive, and I always felt in my household as I was too much, right? And so my self-expression started to diminish over time because I would see the way that my parents would treat my brother, and they would even say out loud, and my parents are so loving, I know that they didn't mean to do this, but they would say things like, I don't understand why you can't just be like your brother. And imagine it's not subtle. It was like direct.
Something is wrong with how I am naturally.
Totally. And this still like brings some tenderness, you know, even though I've done work around it. And so it's like that right there, going into life, kind of comparing with my brother, total positive projection because I love who my brother is, but really seeing his qualities, seeing the qualities in him, but not really being able to see that those qualities were also in me.
And that really, there's other qualities that are your qualities that divine creator source, your soul said,
my unique energy.
The fire is part of your mission. It's part of your identity, and it will fuel your dreams.
Yeah.
And that, you know, so reclaiming that, not only can I be like somebody else, but I also don't have to be. I can be me. There's nothing wrong with me being me, whether I love music, whether I love climbing trees, whether I love writing or whatever.
Okay.
I think that I really appreciate that you brought comparison to the table, because it can be comparison to a sibling, or how come you can't be more like that athlete or that valedictorian or whatever it is. So comparisonitis.
Comparison is so big for people, and maybe you're noticing that that's something that comes up for you even in the online space, right? If you haven't done that work, it's gonna project onto other areas of your life. And so for me, it was really about being able to own my uniqueness, and own that I am passionate and that I'm here to do different things than what has been done in my family, and just really being able to break through those generational patterns has been really huge for me, and just owning who I really am. But obviously that came over time. There were so many years in my childhood where I was like, there must be something wrong with me.
Right.
Because
so that's a big one.
The parents are telling me that this isn't okay for me to express in this way, or I should be like this, right? So there was a lot of that I had to work through.
And this is self-abandonment. It begins the betrayal of abandoning who we are authentically to fit in a box or to appease somebody else's perception of what a little boy or a little girl is supposed to be like. And so I remember with one of my sisters, that we were closer in age, and if I got more attention, it would piss her off. So I stopped shining because I wanted her love.
Yes.
I wanted her to like me. I wanted her to love me. I didn't want her to be mad at me. And so I kind of diminished my joy, my energy, my brightness. Wow. I realized that if I, like, so fill in this question, if I'm me, blank happens.
So powerful.
If I'm me, my parents judge me. If I'm me, I'm too much. If I'm me, someone withholds love from me. If I'm me, somebody gets mad at me. Or I'm too much. All of the things. And so we invite you to fill in the blanks. If I'm authentically me, blank happens.
Yes.
And to sit with that and say, okay, well, if that person's withdraws their love, am I okay without it?
Yeah. Can I source my own love? Right. Like, can I be that anyway without me seeing that physical evidence that it is here?
Right. Yeah. And is that exchange, how much is the cost of if I have to turn myself down, or if I have to change who I am to fit in for a parent's approvals, or for a partner's love, or a friend's companionship, of their jealousy or their insecurity? What is the cost to me? And we might make those agreements to barter, but over time it's like, hey, like, I can't barter who I am anymore. It's too costly. I love me. And that reclamation of your authenticity is going to be a really important part if you're going after your soul dreams and not society's dreams that they want for you.
1000%. It's like that step one is coming back to your authentic truth. And I just want to share that it took me years to come back to that. And I remember even just if I look back at middle school and high school, obviously we're going through that transformative phase as women, as young men, really kind of growing into who we really are and who we want to be in our authentic selves. I remember I was so shy. I was just starting to dim myself from those childhood experiences. And I was scared to even, present in front of a classroom, like meeting new friends. I was just this shy little girl, and I had to really come back to that authenticity now I don't consider myself shy at all. Like I can literally meet somebody right down the street, like connect with anybody on a deep level, but I had to come back to that authenticity of being like, it's okay to be fully me.
Right. And that can be shy.
Yeah, and that can be shy if that's authentic.
Exactly. Another obstacle that I think is really powerful is perfectionism and the fear of failure. A podcast that I recently did with Darren Waller, who's a professional football player, the stress, the anxiety of dropping a pass, the stress and anxiety that we have of being judged, especially how harsh kids are or youth are about being different or you're not necessarily as skilled or masterful at a certain subject or something. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's like it's not your jam. And so whether that's the perfectionism that is coming from your parents, that you can't fail, you have to get straight A's, or that you have to be perfect, doesn't allow for the messiness of manifesting a dream, because it's going to be messy. You're not going to get it
like this. It's not going to be just like this, right?
You're not going to get it right, especially because it's new and it's uncomfortable and you're practicing. And so, in fact, I had a client yesterday that is just paralyzed by fear. So the analysis paralysis doesn't is not allowing her to make a decision or take action, because the fear of failure or not being perfect enough is so deeply ingrained in the subconscious. Then she does nothing, and then the dream dies. No matter how much we talk about it, the dream dies.
Yeah, because at some point we just get to a place where we're like, well, it's been so long since I've wanted to do this and I haven't, so now I'm just going to put it away until it really starts tugging at you, and years later you're not in alignment and you're not living your dream life. And I love to do this exercise with clients, actually, where I take them to being 95 or older, however long you want to live for, and really being in that death bed. I know it sounds horrible, but like really being there and being like, what are you going to wish that you did in this life?
Right. And
coming back to that. And really bringing that dream to life again.
Yeah.
Because for most, there's been interviews with people on their deathbed, right? Most people regret not doing the things that they wanted to do to align themselves with their dreams. They have regrets about what they didn't do.
Whether that's
the
about
risk,
love, I
everything.
never told that person. I never put my heart out there, so I died alone, or parts of my heart I didn't express. Or whether it's I didn't write the book, I didn't create the foundation, I didn't adopt a child, whatever it is. And I love doing that. I just did this with a group with my a group of clients on Wednesday, of just taking them through. Let's go to that place where end of life, and what do you want to say at end of life when you look back? What do you want to feel your legacy to be? What will you be proud about, the impact and what you have left behind in the heart space of others? Maybe it's a tool, maybe it's a resource, maybe it's an example that you lived, a foundation, whatever it is. We are inviting you to do this right now. Just project into end of life, and what do you want to feel about who and how you showed up in this lifetime? And what do you want to hear from others about your legacy and your impact on their life? It's like, let's actually get down to words, phrases, so that when at the end of life we're like, oh yeah,
that is beautiful. Yeah,
I lived all in.
Yeah,
like I am good. I am complete.
Yeah,
and like they can take it from here. And I lived all in. I loved all in. Beautiful. I showed up. I made a difference. I left the world a better place.
Yeah, like I left it all on the playing field.
Yes.
I went to my husband's grandfather's funeral, just really quick story, and it was such a beautiful experience because his legacy is so strong.
Yeah.
And the words that every person said about who he is and the impact that he left on them, it's really inspiring to do that, to go from a place of, oh, I get to honor his life and also honor his legacy. And just so beautiful. I wanted to share that. Yeah.
Because that's it. I mean, to use the end of life as a motivation for being all in today, because the seconds, the moments are what creates life. So if we're not really seizing the moments, our life is just slipping away. If we're not living each one potently, then at the end of life, we'll be like, wait, it went so fast. Yeah. We'll be in that place of regret, of I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda. Now is the time. And there's this quote by Dr. Norman Cousins. Let me see if I got this right. And it talks about the tragedy in life is not death, because we're all going to die.
Yep,
the tragedy isn't
yeah.
that, it's death. It's what we allow to die inside of us while we're still living. And we've already talked about the reasons why things die: fear of failure, fear of messing up,
not being good enough. It's too big. I'm not enough. It's all rooted in fear.
Yeah,
all of it.
Yeah,
because we do, and I know everybody in your community, you know that you are here on this plane because you have a purpose.
Yes.
We all know this. And so we know that. Sometimes we don't know exactly what that purpose is. But what I really recommend is lean into your excitement.
Yes.
What are those things that light you up? Start there. It doesn't have to be this crystallized vision of a business, unless that's what it becomes. But really starting with igniting those passions that really serve you, that light you up, that help other people, that really support you in making a difference in other people's lives. Start there and explore what those are.
Just take the next 2 steps.
Take the next 2 steps. So, that's another thing that stops people back, is thinking that you have to know all of the steps before you start.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of your community has heard this, but most of the time, anybody who goes after a dream, you have that vision, you have clarity, but you don't have clarity on exactly which step you're gonna. I mean, you have the next 2 steps, but you don't know what every single step is going to be.
Right, and you may not have the information. You may not have the insight about what 20 choices down the line.
Yeah.
You might not have the information to make that choice right in this moment. You might not have the resources or the awareness, or the timing isn't right. The 20th choice, the 20th step is over there. Take the next 2 steps.
Take the next 2 steps.
Sometimes those are like, hey, if we're going to one of these summits, a dream is a summit. And I love that you started with your passion, because then you're not just reaching a summit to reach a summit, but it's your summit. So many dreams are manifest. Okay, I did this. I got the house. I got the marriage. I got the kids. I got like the stuff. And I was in that situation where okay, but I created the dream life, but it wasn't my dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I got here, and it doesn't feel fulfilling and enriching. And so 2 things that I've found in finding what is your soul mission and your soul purpose that I think are powerful. And one of those is follow your passion, like you said. And the other is also follow your pain. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes a pain we have around an abuse or addiction, or adoption, or a relationship challenge, or infidelity, we might have clues in our pain that, hey, I want to help other people through this process. I want to help the environment. I'm all about the trees. Maybe you're passionate about the ocean. Okay, well, I'm all about marine life. And to also follow where it hurts. This thing hurts so bad that I want to make a difference. I want to participate. I want to get off the bench and build a foundation. I want to plant trees. I want to help other people through this pain, because it might be your pain that is also where you're going to find your soul purpose and mission.
Definitely. Yeah. And there's also clues, even like with the passion, looking at what you're naturally, innately really good at.
Yeah.
Right? And I love the perspective on the pain. I usually focus more on like the passion, so I love that perspective. But even I guide individuals through really looking at what are some of your unique qualities that you want to really bring forth more. So that might be that it's really easy for you to connect with people, and there's clues there about, oh, it lights me up to connect with people around this subject, right? So really looking at what are those things that you are naturally really good at and love, and combining those. And if there's no clues there, then going into that pain and being like, what has served me in this life that I can now dedicate myself to help others who are also going through this pain.
Right, because where it blends is, let's say, one of my clients is a spoken word artist, and it's like, okay, take that pain from your challenges and how you've overcome that and risen, and weave that into your spoken word skill. And take what you're excited about, your passion, and weave that into how you weave that into working with youth or whatever it is. And I love the intersection of those things. Something you're passionate about, something you're skillful at, something that may inspire you because it hurt, or it motivates you from that place. Do it all.
Do it all.
And do it now.
And it's okay for it to be messy.
It will be messy.
And it's okay. Yeah. Really honor the journey. I think people need to remember to just honor it. It's not going to look perfect. Yeah. You're not going to know every step, but you're going to feel fully alive when you are going after something that really matters to you. Because in the present moment, you're going to be enjoying the experience of it. And you're just going to continue to attract more of the people, opportunities who are going to guide you towards that.
The resources.
All of the steps.
Whatever you need.
All of the steps.
And be willing. Okay, so let's go through these tools. I want to kind of break down specific tools to help you overcome the obstacles on the way of really living that fulfilled legacy life, your dream life. So the first thing that we talked about was beliefs. You've got to believe in yourself, whether other people do or not.
Yeah.
It's not their business.
Yeah.
And it's not your business, other people's beliefs in you. So there's a liberation from other people's beliefs in you, and a reclamation of believing in yourself.
And I want to touch on that even if you don't fully believe in yourself yet, just know that you just need to believe in yourself enough at the start to say, I am going to go after something that ignites passion and purpose in my life.
Right.
And I know that I am worthy of that. I don't know yet how to do it, but I just believe in that. And that is going to guide you towards that next step. And I really feel like the next step is clarity, the clarity of the vision. Yeah. Right? Because you have some beliefs. So now what is it that you actually really want to do in this life? Not those dreams that were handed down by our family members, but what is it that you really care to do in this lifetime?
And we've talked about different ways to come to that vision. And in that piece around vision, I think one of the tools, that's why the free guided visualization is there for you.
Yes.
Because when you have a vision, it wasn't, those feelings, that clarity or that intuition or that feeling, that essence wasn't given to you if you couldn't manifest it. If the seed was planted into you, even though if it feels big effing big or scary or uncomfortable, where you're la 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 la, I didn't hear that. I've only done that a bunch of times.
Totally, me too.
La, la, ignoring that, too big, you knocked on the wrong door, all of those things. But when you are in that place where there is vision, I think visualization is really powerful. See yourself on that stage. See yourself in that relationship. See yourself coaching, running the business, the foundation, planting the trees. See whatever it is that you feel lit up about. Use your powers of your mind, because that's a gift and a tool.
Such a tool.
Underutilized to start to inform your brain. Oh, this is possible, because right now the current brain believes this is what's possible because this is what it's manifested. So we're going to need to upgrade the brain and the beliefs of let me see my future self living it, feeling it, tasting it, laughing it, making love in Hawaii, living in the tree house, being a best-selling author, whatever it is.
All the things.
There's no judgment about whatever your dream is, And it's not too small or too big or it's just, and so visualize it, see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, experience it, let it bring up emotion. And so that's the guided visualization is going to help you do that. But I use guided visualizations every day.
So good for your subconscious mind, because really, we were talking about this before this episode, that sometimes depending on what situations we grew up in, we might have not ever seen it modeled, right? Role models. We might have not even had a glimpse into what is possible in this life, right? Where we started, right? So by doing those visualizations, you can take yourself to a completely different reality, but then also at some point, you also want to surround yourself with individuals who are on this path of going after their dream life, because what that's going to do is it's just going to, my friend Felicia always says this, like calibrate you at a new level where you now see, okay, Anahata is doing this and she's living her dream life and she's in her purpose and she can do it, I can do it too. And so it really calibrates you to see what's possible when you're around those individuals and having those new experiences that take you away from what you're used to, those beliefs, right? What you've already manifested is normal in your brain right now. So you need to take yourself to an expanded vision so that you can step into a new level.
111%.
Yes.
So that's one of the other steps is your support system, because your current support system vibes with your current level of manifestation and your current lifestyle and your current beliefs. And so yes, you will need to surround yourself with big dreamers, but not just big dreamers, big executors. Yes. Because I and here in Sedona, I'm the first to say, there's a lot of people saying, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm like, awesome. Are you manifesting it?
Yeah.
So surrounding yourself with people that want you to succeed. And we were talking about this earlier, that sometimes the people around you are the first ones to doubt, judge, criticize, throw guilt. How dare you? You're not, who do you think you are? Judge. And it really challenges, am I going to keep this friendship or am I going to go after my dream? Yeah. And so there is going to be an adjustment as you dream big and also start to embody taking the steps towards that. It is going to threaten some of your current relationships that are really loving it, staying at status quo. They like you how you are now. They don't want you to go big. They don't want you to be bigger than them or change the dynamic in the relationship. They don't want you to, quit, drinking, wine on a Wednesday night, and you decide that, hey, that's going to be my writing night instead of my drinking night. Like, how dare you abandon me? And so
that triggers them, and then sometimes it makes us play small because we don't want to lose those loved ones around us, right? It rubs that core wound of being abandoned. Right. And so we need to really go to experiences, go to retreats, be around other individuals who are doing the work, who are also committed to their dreams. Right. And the conversations are not going to be around, you can't do this, who are you to do that? They're going to be around,
money for that. That's going to cost too much money. All of their fears. And as you're unraveling your own fears and your own doubts, as you start moving your current tribe, it's going to trigger their fears and their doubts. And the parts of your relationships that are still in a codependent, like unhealthy dynamic, that are not having clear boundaries between their fears and judgments and limitations and beliefs and yours are going to be challenged. And then you get to see, am I going to play small? Am I going to give them the keys to my dream life? And one of the other quotes that on Hot Stuff said, is like, if you are not driving towards your dreams, you're driving towards somebody else's. Yeah, if you don't know your dreams, if you don't know your yes, somebody else is writing that for you. Yeah. And then we can come to a part in life where like, I don't love being here. And it's like, yeah, because somebody else drove me here. And I can be the victim that says, well, they made me, or I couldn't, they didn't allow me to. And it's like, bullshit.
At any point you can be like, let me get on my path.
There
is no timeline on that, right? You can do it when you're a teenager, you can do it when you're in your 20s, 30s, like 40s, 50s, whatever age it is. Yes. But once you come back in your power, you realize, I am here to create my own path.
What was something that you struggled with when you were upgrading your circle of influence? As you know, because now I'm like so selective about who I surround myself with. And what was one of the challenges that you had in up-leveling your tribe? And it doesn't mean we're not still in relationship with family or friends, but I just energize those relationships less. I don't go to them for support and encouragement if it's beyond their skill set or ability, or desire, or comfort level. I just don't go to them for that. So what was a challenge you experienced as you started growing and stepping into that? What did that bring up in your current, your previous relationships?
Yes, such a great question. So for me, when I was in high school, I actually decided to move to a different country because of that same, I think innately, I just knew I wasn't going to be able to grow in the same way if I stayed around my high school friends in the same city. Like everyone was going to just do the same things. And I just knew I wanted to just move. I'm a Sagittarius, double Sagittarius. I'm like, let me just move to another country at 18. So I moved to a different country, and it was challenging, of course, because you are bringing your old self into this new experience. At that age, you don't really know who you are. So I was still engaging in relationships that reflected my past. But eventually, what I really learned from these experiences, I've moved around a lot, and was that every time that I moved, it was this new opportunity for me to show up as the person I now wanted to be without anyone knowing me, without anybody having baggage of like, hey, last year you were really into this, but this year all of a sudden you're, healthy and you don't drink anymore. I didn't have that because I just perfectly planned those those experiences where I moved cities in alignment with where I was at in my life. But one of the challenges was for sure feeling like I was leaving people behind, and that feeling of, people pleasing coming up around, is this okay for me to not talk to this person anymore who has been in my life for a really long time? And it's not to say abandon people at all, but it's more to say if some relationships that aren't in alignment anymore, it's okay to lovingly send them love and let them go. Yeah. And I had to learn that. I really had to learn that it is okay to not keep in touch with every single person you've ever known in your life.
Some are for a reason, some are for a season,
100%,
right?
And that was huge for me.
You will leave some behind, and it's not about abandonment, it's more about alignment of who am I attracting at this next level of who I'm becoming. And I used to drink a lot and party a lot, and like a lot of my college friends, it's like that's what we had in common. And when it was time, at soul, physical, spiritual level, it was like alcohol didn't fit any longer. Then I realized, wow, alcohol what was keeping us together. And like, we actually don't have as much in common as I thought. And I had to mourn that these were my drinking buddies. They're not my manifest dream life buddies. And some made the transition that we could spend time outside of drinking and grow, and some didn't, and it was okay. And it was okay. I survived, they survived. It's not about judgment, but because I keep attracting new, amazing people, souls. So I don't feel empty. Yeah. And I also had to sit in this place of trading out the accommodator and weighting their opinions more heavily than mine. Yeah. So I remember one of my friends that we were growing spiritually in like awakening together, and we were both kind of growing at the same pace, and it felt good and reciprocal. And then I made a quantum leap, and I was like, okay, I'm stepping in, I'm leading this thing, I'm ready, I'm scared, I'm stretched, I'm uncomfortable, and I was expecting his support as a friend in that, and because I did a quantum leap, it threatened our relationship, and he was the first one to stab me in the back.
Wow. Yeah.
And at a soul level, I mean, what he was doing for me at a soul level was testing. Like, are you ready for this?
Are you ready to hold this quantum leap?
Yeah. Are you going to stay there even when I'm stabbing you in the back? Like, are you going to claim it? And are you going to turn around and treat me with compassion? Or are you going to drop back into the relationship like a brother, sister, sibling, rivalry, competitive? Or are you just going to see at a soul level what's happening? And he could be the only one that could trigger in such a way the dynamic that is like, no, I do belong here, and this is right, and I was so close to be triggered back into it's like, no, this next level of me has a tool to claim it and own it.
Oh, beautiful.
And it also has the next level to have compassion and understanding, but still own it. And also recognize the little girl part of me that felt hurt and rejected and see that, but still own it, and then have a conversation with him about it afterwards. And
so beautiful.
I got, those people that are challenging you or testing you or throwing a guilt hook or a judgment or a fear of projection, at a soul level, those are the people that are challenging your resolve.
Oh my goodness. I love that so much, because that was the lesson in that moment, right? It's like, you did this quantum leap. Now let's see if you can hold it, and let's see how much you've integrated this new way of being. And it's like, here's a
wobbly.
test.
It was definitely wobbly, but
Yeah.
I had done the work, and it was like, I can do this. And so, if you're listening, if you are watching, you have been acquiring the tools, the support, the awareness. You've been reading the books, taking the workshops, doing the sessions, like, you've been doing it, and you're ready to take another step. And part of that is going to be attracting the tribe. So we've got beliefs.
Yeah. Another thing for attracting your tribe that I didn't even get into, but is definitely those in-person experiences, but investing in yourself in general puts you in a place, whether it's a mastermind, a group program, it puts you in a place where all of a sudden you get to meet these quote unquote strangers that are going to become best friends that are in that same place as you, ready to up level, ready to step into a next level. That has been one of the most powerful experiences, both leading masterminds with my best friend, my biz bestie, Felicia, and also just being a part of different masterminds and experiences. I did a year-long certification program last year, and just being a part of that group of incredible, aligned humans who are up-leveling, who are doing the work, that will just radically change your life.
It's an accelerator. So that support, you're going to need to surround yourself with like-minded people, but the support also may be a coach, an expert, or somebody that has gone through it. It'll help you flatten the learning curve. When I first started doing podcasts, I still don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm better than my first one. It's not perfect. Sometimes I forget to push the record button. Sometimes the lighting sucks. It's like, okay, whatever. Okay. I'm learning, and I've let go of the perfectionism and just do it.
Yes, and
so
going back to that, and it's like, you're not going to get it perfect ever. It's not about ever getting it perfect, right? It's about how can I still move toward my goal without this feeling of it has to be perfect, of just I get to show up, and this is what I love to do. And
and I had people that were expert podcasters. I had people say, hey, I've never done this before, a current dream that I'm manifesting right now, which I'm going to tell you more about later. I can't wait to hear. I know you're going to be part of it, and it's coming soon. More dream, I'm in this space of a fertile dream birthing right now, so this is good for me as well. But I had to ask advice from a lot of different people that know things that I don't know, or that have been through what I haven't been through yet. And so not only surrounding yourself with a tribe that are going through it, but also who has done it.
Who's done it? Who's a few steps ahead?
Who's a few steps ahead? Who
That's
has
an accelerator.
tripped and fallen and said, hey, don't do this instead. This will flatten your learning curve. Here's a tool, here's a resource. And so it feels like you're going to need to reach out for tools, people, resources, systems, maybe an attorney, an accountant, a financial expert, a strategist, a marketing expert, so that you don't have to do it alone, and you can surround yourself with experts that can help you get better, or help show you how to do it quicker, more efficiently, and more cost effectively.
And how beautiful is it that we all have a unique purpose, and so you get to lean on those complementary opposites, or those complementary people in your life who you're like, I would never want to be a lawyer, but I'm glad that that's your purpose, because you can help me, or for an accountant, or any of those areas that we maybe don't feel passionate about, another person does.
Yes.
And it's beautiful to collaborate. That's been another lesson for me over the past few years, to not feel like you have to do it alone.
For sure.
Like, you're going after your dreams. You are already doing the personal work, like offload a lot of these things, collaborate with others. You can go so much further with other people. And I know that you're all about that. Just collaboration, retreats together, just like all of the things that you can do with others who are like-minded, but also just living their dream lives and going after and wanting to make a difference, and all the things just
it's like
accelerate.
This momentum accelerator. These are accelerators.
Yeah,
definitely accelerators, so that your dream timeline collapses and there's fewer obstacles. Doesn't mean there's not obstacles. I'm falling on my face all over the place, but it builds confidence when I'm just like, okay, I've been taking the next step. Now, then you get to one of these places where one of the next steps is one of those quantum, really effing scary steps of like, I need to make the call. I need to ask for help. I need to ask for money. I need to, whatever it is that really scares you. And that's where your tribe comes in. It's like, go girl, you can do that.
Yeah.
Or yes, brother, like you got this. And if you put it out there and it's a book proposal and it gets rejected, so what? Okay.
Exactly.
One of the next steps and tools is persistence. Like, okay, there was a rejection. Okay.
Yeah.
And, that isn't personal, but I can learn from it. Yeah. So I think that there's something really important about, if your dream is alive in you, that when there's a setback, when there is a COVID, when there is like, okay, it didn't go the way I thought it was, or I didn't get the loan, or, the person that I pitched this to said no. It's like, okay, what could I do differently?
Yeah.
What am I learning from this? What is spirit, soul, or the seed of this dream trying to tell me that I could do differently? And so I think that there's something really valuable about learning from what the universe is showing you when you do start moving and it is messy, or there's a setback or a door closes. It's like, okay, how can I...
What is this teaching me?
What is this teaching me?
And I think one of the most powerful things we can learn as entrepreneurs, just as humans on this planet, is emotional mastery of being able to really be with what is coming up. If it's fear, if it's, whatever it is, self-doubt, like whatever shows up on the journey, because it will keep showing up, how can you be with yourself through it and give yourself that love and acceptance through it that maybe you never got growing up, but you can now give that to yourself. And that's one of the most powerful things that we could do as leaders, is really learning how to manage our emotions and be with our emotions and accept and love all of the full ranges of emotions that we experience as human beings on this journey towards our dreams.
Yeah,
that has been a game changer for me. Yeah. Triggers and having that awareness of being like, okay, I'm getting triggered. I'm making this mean this. And, really being able to be with myself through that without abandoning myself and saying, this is too hard. So that has been so powerful.
Let's just call that presence. That's that tool of presence that says, okay, this is really scary for me. What is it bringing up? Or I'm frustrated here and I'm angry here. And it's like, great. What isn't working then? I remember one of the systems, gosh, if I would have had your systems, like one of the systems I was working, it's like, they don't have customer service. They don't have this. They don't have this thing that I need. I'm getting pissed off. I'm getting frustrated. It's like,
and technology can do this to us.
And it's like, great. Frustration, emotional anxiety, like emotional intensity leaves clues. What is this showing me? Oh, I've got the wrong system. That's what it showed me. I've got the wrong system. And it was like, shit, I've got the wrong system.
Totally.
I get to throw a tantrum, I get to be upset about it, and I'm going to replace it.
Yeah.
And
it's like, I value customer service, so the next one I'm getting, it has good customer service. And
I learned what I didn't want. It was a $4,000, investment in business school tuition.
Yes, totally. I love that.
It's like, okay, that didn't work, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a failure because I learned. I also know I can let that go, and I will not compromise on these things now. And the system that I have in place now is wonderful. The customer service is fantastic. And so amazing. I love that you brought up presence, because your emotional intelligence will leave clues. And if you're stressed and anxiety, maybe you're pushing or forcing too much. You might need a break. You might need to step back.
It's all feedback.
It's all feedback.
Every single day. And just somatic work. I mean, there's so many tools. We're kind of just going all over the place with all the tools, but somatic work and really being able to like just tune in to what is coming up through breath work, through all of these experiences, comes back to presence though, right? It's like if you don't have that presence, then you can't really tune in to what is occurring, what is coming up for you moment to moment. So that is huge.
That is huge. And that's going to be an up leveling of learning how to hold space for ourselves, and which we definitely most likely were not taught as a child, and as adults mostly codependent, and like they need to show up for me. And part of that up leveling and spiritual expansion is going to be learning how to show up for yourself. So I love that.
Show up for yourself. And I just want to touch on really quickly how sometimes on the journey, we might feel like something isn't in alignment when we're experiencing some of these harder emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like, is this not aligned? We start questioning ourselves. And it's so much easier to question and to come back to that place of, oh, well, maybe this isn't meant for me. Maybe I'm just going to retreat.
A lovely little excuse.
It's like a lovely excuse, but instead, just see how it is calling you forward. Always. Right?
What is this asking me to see, change, adapt, let go? And so I'd say one of the other tools is the ability to pivot, to shift something. Okay, this system isn't working. Okay, this person on my team is not a vibrational match anymore. This relationship in my personal life, there's something about it that isn't in alignment, or I'm not communicating, and so there's assumptions in the space, and so where do I need to be a better communicator or be more clear with my team or whatever it is. And that ability to, okay, pivot. This isn't working? Okay, pivot.
Yep.
The universe is giving me feedback that this isn't the right timing. Let go. Try something different. And that willingness to continually be flexible and adaptive. Okay, this isn't the right location. It isn't the right timing. It isn't the right team member. Okay, and like a level of trust and allowing that the divine is helping me align. That if a door closes, I can pivot to something and trust that there is something more aligned. There is a better fit. There is a better system. There is a better way, and I'm practicing. This is like I'm practicing it. Allowing the time between the hiccup and the pivot to shorten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not fully condensed.
I am
nothing.
with you totally.
Because sometimes it's like, shit, like I didn't expect a 180 here, and it's like, okay, throw your tantrum, breathe, allow, but then it's like, okay. I'm learning process of allowing there's a better thing. The universe has something better in mind for me, and a level of trust and pivoting. And I'm shortening that timeline, which allows me to be in more grace more often. Not always.
Yeah, it is the best. Recently, I was just kind of thinking about, what are some of the powerful lessons that I've learned from my family, instead of always looking at like, hey, this is where I got this pattern and this is where I got this belief, but what are some things that I actually really value that my family has taught me? And one of those things is just to be adaptable and flexible.
Yeah.
And so it's like one of the greatest things that we can have in our lives, because I think this is part of the theme of this podcast, is that nothing is going to go according to plan in the direction of your dreams. And so what do you recommend for those individuals? Because I have a lot of those individuals. I call in as a flowy 7 on the Enneagram Sagittarius. I call in a lot of those people who are more in that control.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for them to loosen up a little and be like, hey, it's gonna work out, like being a little bit more in that adaptive, flowy energy. What do you recommend for that, Anahata? Because I love this topic.
I thank you for that. I think one of them is celebrating failures. Have I failed today? Have I failed today?
That is powerful.
Have I failed today? Which means I have to get outside of my comfort zone. I have to do something I'm not good at. I have to ask for help. I have to have I failed today? And
that probably shakes up a lot of these sometimes personality
perfectionism,
types.
And control. And it's like one of the other tools that I would say is very, very valuable here is measurability and accountability, so that If I'm a writer, are you writing? If I'm a podcaster, are you doing podcasts? If you are a coach, are you coaching? If you are, like any part of your business, are you measuring it so that you can hold yourself accountable? Because we can be in this loop of fear and control, just like I was saying with one of my clients yesterday, where the analysis paralysis and the fear of failure, she does absolutely nothing. And I'm like, okay, by the end of today, this must get done.
Yeah.
You've got to move something. And measuring that, what is a measure that I hold myself accountable for? That I've got to do 3 videos a month, I've got to write this many words, and that I don't get to bullshit myself around that. Is that's going back to the next 2 action steps, is if it's not measurable, I read a book a month, if it's not measurable, our ego is going to get us busy with busy tasks where we think we're moving ahead, but if it's like, but you haven't done the actual thing yet. So that's where I work with my clients to be that piece that scares them the most. It's like, all right, you've got to do that, and you're going to do it today.
And
you're
check back in on
you're going to send me the picture of you doing. You're going to send me the video,
so
and so that's holding people through the scary places of, like, okay, we're just going to record a test video. It doesn't have to go public today. And sometimes I'm like, it's going to go public today. You're going to get in front of it, and you're just going to do a 2-minute thing and get them over that hump. And so sometimes we need our hand held, like, okay, what's the script? Let's turn on the video. Let's do and
then it's like,
right
I've
here.
got this.
Like, I'm really scared. It's like, okay, we're gonna. It's being that doula. You know, that
business doula.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly
I
right
love
to be
that.
like
That dream doula.
sometimes we need to hold somebody's hand through the process because they're literally shaking, and it's like, I've got you.
You are
Let's
such a
take
dream
the next-
doula.
Yes.
I love that. I'm like, I'm totally calling you a dream doula.
Right? And so sometimes we be that midwife that
Yes.
is like, okay, just breathe. We have a contraction right now. We're going to get through
And
it.
it's going to be okay.
And it's going to be okay. And so,
we need to hear those words often.
you know, sometimes we need to be held through that. And that's where a coach, that's where a guide, you know, is like, okay, I've got you. And we're going to walk through this together. And once we get past that first threshold of big fear and we get over it and we survive, we're like,
we have evidence.
And you're like,
the
oh my
new
God.
evidence is there. The new belief is there. You've cleared some of those subconscious patterns that it wasn't possible. Now you're like, oh, I have more energy because I saw that it was possible and I didn't die.
I did not die. I am alive. And yes, your eyes might have been darting the whole time. You might have been like stumbling over your words, and
it's okay.
And it's okay. It's more personal that way. And so we get over that first one, and I think that's a big win is just getting on the trail. You know,
Getting on the trail
because we can, you know, if we're trying to get here to Thunder Mountain, we might need the shoes, we might need the backpack, we need the water, and we might sit here for days packing our backpack, which is great. But at some point, we actually have to get feet
like
on
move
the
our
trail
feet.
and move. And then we might realize 3 hours in, I don't have enough water, or the weather is changing, I'm not equipped for this. Okay,
And that's where the adaptability comes in.
turn around. I don't have to summit today. Turn around. Now I know to pack this and check the weather report. Then we get better. And then we're like, all right, let's go again next Tuesday. So I think getting over the hump is a big one. And then holding yourself accountable for, say, okay, now 2 videos. Or now instead of going 1 mile, I'm going to go 2 miles.
Definitely.
And I'm going to have an accountability buddy. I might hold you accountable for getting your videos up. You might hold me accountable for how many miles did you do this week.
Yes.
So this goes back to your tribe and having accountability and measurability.
Yes.
Not just can you do it, but what are the success steps that get you towards your dream? Not the little busy shit,
so
but
huge.
The things that move the marker and move the needle that get you there.
Yeah.
Because we're usually afraid to measure those
Yeah.
And those are the ones that really tell whether or not we're getting anywhere.
Yeah, and some people might see themselves in this story, but I remember even when I was on the path towards creating my dreams and really manifesting what I wanted in business, I remember being an idea person. I had a million ideas in my journal where, yes, literally every single day I'm like, oh yeah, and then I would add to an idea. I'd be like, this is gonna be even bigger than I once thought it was. And at some point I was just like looking through all of my ideas in my journal and being like, none of these have happened yet. And it wasn't until I hired a coach who helped me, held my hand and said, all right, this, out of all of these ideas, which one lights you up the most? Let's choose one, not 3, not 5, 1. And she literally helped me break it down, milestones, deadline, exact goals, really kind of smart goal setting, just very clear. And it was scary. And that's where the work really began. It wasn't so much for me on the vision because I had the vision. Some people are getting the vision, that's great, and get that vision first. But for me, it was about the execution and really following through. Because you could do all this healing work, you could use, it's like going to the gym but not working out. Because once you actually are on the path, that's where the work begins, because that's when the blocks come up. And that's when you get to work through them and really rewire these subconscious patterns that it's not possible, because now you're bringing
and the action is momentum. Then you start
and then it's
craving
confidence.
it. It's like, oh my God, I did that, and I feel better. And I think that creates momentum of 3 miles is easy. I can do 3.5. I can do 5.
Yeah.
And so getting over, that's where coaches come in. That's where you come in. That's where I come in to help people. All right, let's next 2 steps, and accountability. And it takes the dream out of the ether, and it brings it down to the air where we start talking about it. Then it brings it down to the fire where we start taking action. Then the water element comes where we start getting emotional about it. Then we have to but what if I fail, or this is too big, or I got rejected, or they judged me. And so you're going to have to work through the emotional waves in order to manifest it into earth in a solid foundation. And
I love that analogy.
To be the roadmap. This is a podcast that I did on Aubrey Marcus's podcast a while back called The Roadmap to Transformation. We'll put the link in the notes to that Aubrey podcast where I walk through the roadmap of transformation, where you take an idea out of the ethers and how you actually bring it in to doing the unsexy, important, just everyday steps. Getting to the top of a mountain is fabulous. It takes one step after another. Sweaty steps. Sometimes you get lost. Sometimes you have to, take a break. Sometimes you need a friend. And
how can we enjoy the journey on the way there, right? It's even those messy, I forgot to tie my shoes and I tripped. How can we still enjoy that? And then once we get to the top of the mountain, it's we didn't just enjoy the being here, but we enjoyed all of the messy and steps we had to take to get here.
Because that's who we become.
Yeah.
Who we become along the journey, that we had to get better at following a map. We had to get better at asking for help. We had to get better at planning our, packing our backpack and doing the training. You don't just up and do a 12-mile hike. 100%. It's did I do the steps, the daily routines? And this is where a coach or a mentor comes in that says, what are the daily habits
to get you to the top?
The daily habits of visualization, the daily habits of block timing, action steps each day to get you there, whether that's writing every day or whether that's doing, your core work or whatever it is, of breaking it down. And I love that your coach would do the same thing. You do the same thing. Let me break it down into bite-sized, measurable action steps.
Yeah. Because usually my clients will be like, oh, I actually see how it's possible now. Because I was just trying to see this whole picture and getting lost in the how, instead of saying all I have to worry about is the next 2 steps to get to this milestone. That's it.
And sometimes then you meet a big one where it's oh, and that's where your tribe comes in. That's where your daily visualizations come in. It's okay, but this dream is so big, it's so true. I can get over this. I can learn from it. I can pivot, all the things.
Totally.
I love it.
This has been such an amazing conversation, and I feel like it's come at a perfect time, because I've been in this up level the past year, just with my new business, my new software business, a completely different realm that I was used to being in. And it's brought up a lot of that, a lot of those doubts again. And what I come back to is just business is the greatest opportunity for transformation because you are doing the work day-to-day basis. You have other people who are depending on you. Like all of these things that you're facing every single day are just helping you become more of who you're here to be. And it's just beautiful. Like what if we can just honor that this journey is really about this, about the transformation, about like the experience, about just living fully into our soul's purpose.
100%.
So beautiful. Like that is why we're here.
That's why we're here. And
it.
you know, you're no different than us sitting here. You're no different than a best-selling author. You're no different than Oprah Winfrey. You're no different than an Olympic gold medal athlete. You are no different. We have gifts, we have abilities that are gifted to us for a reason. How rude to withhold that from
yes.
We're like, how rude,
it's
how
selfish.
dare you?
It's selfish.
How dare you
not to.
like keep those gifts from us? Like we need that.
There's somebody out there that needs your medicine,
right?
That needs that gift, that essence. Like I just think about, imagine if Anahata did not do what she is here doing,
or
right?
you,
or me, or all of us, right? Like every single one of us, if we didn't, there would be somebody out there who is missing out on the powerful medicine.
So many are missing, and so many are waiting right now for you. They're waiting for your medicine, your gift, your song, your tool, your resource, and nothing is too small or too big. Nothing is too small or too big, and the time is now to start.
And you're inherently worthy of everything that you want to do. So just take this as an opportunity, my friends, to take the big leap and just go for it.
Yes,
take it from us, right?
Just we're doing it. I seriously, like, I'm getting hamstrings pulls by the quantum leaps that I'm being stretched into.
I'm so excited.
Like it's it's exciting and
nerve-wracking,
scary, and I'm leveraging all of the tools, all the people, everything that I've been collecting all along the way. Now I'm pulling all of that together to dream this next thing, and I know you're doing the same thing. So tell everybody, if you would, where to find you and what magical things you have up your sleeve that can support them in manifesting their dreams.
Beautiful. I'm so excited to connect with your community. You can find me on Instagram. That's where I typically hang out.
Yeah.
It's at Anette de la Rosa. I did just change my last name recently, so it might be Anette Oran. I'm still figuring out if I'm changing the Instagram handle, but one of those two, most likely Anette de la Rosa. And then you can also find me. I lead a mastermind program with my friend Felicia that you know, who's incredible.
With me,
And we're starting a new one soon. You can find us, if you follow me, at Anette de la Rosa. You'll see all about that. That's starting on August 1st. And you can also check out the platform that we're gifting everybody access to, thanks to Anahata and her generosity. And that is www.cohere.live. And we're actually going to have a special link in the show notes with your code, so your access, so that you'll just be able to create a free account under Anahata.
Oh my gosh, that is such a powerful
and I'm so
gift.
excited for that.
Thank you for that. We'll have your Instagram, we'll have your website, we'll have the gift link.
Yes.
Absolutely. Go check that out. That's very, very generous of you. And look, why not flatten the learning curve? Why not have somebody else do the legwork for you and put it all together? Like, I wish I would have had that when I started. So that's a beautiful gift.
And I'm here to support your tribe in any way I can. If you ever want to just reach out, systems, coaching, anything that I can support you with. Again, that magnetic business mentorship and mastermind with Felicia, all the things. I would love to support your community.
Oh my gosh, that is powerful. Next level. It's what we're all about. Yeah. There's so many people that can help you rise and shine in whatever way really calls to your soul. There's so many of us doing different specialties that there is somebody for you to help you manifest your fullest potential and help you create, embody, and manifest your legacy life. So please go check out the podcast page that is going to have all of the links and also the free gift for the quantum guided visualization. So that's my free gift to you. We've got a couple retreats coming up, so go check those out. The Soul Awakening Retreat in September, the Goddess Awakening Retreat in October, and so excited for those things coming. More coming. Please let us know. Please, in the comments below this podcast, go subscribe. Please share it. If there was something powerful, if there was something that landed, if you've got a friend or a loved one that is really, got something alive that they're wanting to dream, please share this podcast, and that's how it can ripple out and reach other people.
And tag us so we can share the love as well and see all of you sharing and who listened to it. I always love to connect to everybody who I know was in this space with us. So thank you so much, Anahata, for having me on. This was truly an honor and just such a privilege to be able to have this conversation with you.
Right. And thank you for everything that you're doing and the magic and the medicine as you are shining brightly and making a difference. Like it's so powerful and so grateful. It's the beginning of us weaving our magic together.
Yes,
so I'm excited about what's ahead.
I'm so excited. And cheers to all of you going after your dreams.
Yes. So go check it out. It's all going to be on all of the platforms, and you always find me here in Sedona, shamangelichealing.com, at Instagram, at Anahata Ananda, and Shamangelic Healing over on YouTube. So we love you. Thank you. Go manifest your dreams.